Are you operating from a place of fear or are you operating from a place of faith? This is a question that I have been thinking about recently, and I have noticed that a lot of times, especially when things get challenging or I do something and I'm not okay with how I had responded, it usually ends up being because I was operating from a place of fear instead of faith. And recently, I have been noticing this come up a lot when I'm working with my son. He is 3 years old, and he's at that place in life where he is testing boundaries a lot, and he is trying to find his own way in the world, in a sense, right? Like, as much as a 3-year-old can. He has a tendency to push my buttons a lot. Myself and my husband's, right? I mean, he's a 3-year-old. He's figuring things out and whatnot. But I also had noticed when I was looking at his birth chart compared to mine, his ascendant is actually conjunct my natal Pluto, which relates to fear, control, power, transformation, and all those good things too. But I recognized instantly when I saw that, I realized that, oh my God, he's a one giant trigger for me and my sense of control. And where does control come from? It comes from a place of fear. It comes from a need to control your surroundings, your outcomes, the things that you go through in order to prevent something from happening. And why would you want to prevent something from happening? Because you're afraid, right? And for me, I think even before I had kids, I was afraid of having kids because I knew just the burden that kind of comes along with having somebody else's life on the line because of you and having that on your conscience. Because as a parent, you are essentially responsible for this other human being and how they kind of turn out in this world. I mean, me being in therapy and even before going into therapy and going on this whole spiritual path of realizing, a lot of the things that I struggle with today stemming from how I grew up and the things that I was taught, not just by my parents, but also other people around me. It really kind of emphasized that fact that the things that I teach to him, the the lessons that he ends up learning about himself can carry on throughout his life and can cause him to either be an amazing human being or can have a lot of really disastrous consequences. And so I've always kind of carried that weight of parenthood within me. And I think whenever I see him acting out, particularly when he gets like violent or something, especially when now that we have our daughter, it it scares me. It does. Is I don't know what's going to happen to him in the future, and I don't want him to become a cruel person. And so I I get scared and I get angry and I try to control the situation, and that's not going to help. It's just not. And so over the last few days I've been reflecting on this a lot and how to shift this mindset and how to shift this perspective so that I'm not operating from that place of fear and control and wanting to ensure that everything's going to be okay, because truthfully I can't. There's some level of powerlessness involved with or surrendering control to when it comes to raising a child, because you can't do it all by yourself. You just can't. Like, it is you can kill yourself trying to do that, basically. And so I have started kind of going down this path with being closer to family and asking for help from other people to help watch them. Even though I know that they are going to influence him in some way that may not align with the way that I want to raise him. But I can do my best to ensure that I am doing the best for him. And so things like taking time to go to the gym so that I am taking care of myself too, so that I'm in a better mental state when issues arise and I'm able to be a little bit more regulated in order to deal with the situation is helpful. Even though I don't know what's happening when he's at the kids club at the gym. And so I think that's been helpful in having those situations where I'm able to kind of let go a little bit. But then when it comes to when I'm with him, I have to approach it differently. I and I think this is where understanding astrology, understanding your own chart can help because there are always clues, right? The placements that you have in your chart, they're more than just their singular placement, right? They interact with each other in different ways, or aspects, if you will. And so for me, when I was looking at my chart, I'm grateful because I do have Pluto trining Venus in my seventh house. I have it sextiling Neptune. And I also have it conjunct my moon, which difficult placement in itself. But when I look at all these three things and the aspects that it makes, what it really points to is love. Just love. It's so simple, right? And it is so profound though, because, anyone who is going through the parenting journey, everyone kind of tells you like, don't worry, don't stop worrying about it too much and just love your kids the best that you can. And this is truly it, right? Like, this is loving your kid unconditionally and doing what's best for them and showing them that love. And so it's a little relieving in a sense. I mean, it also sextiles Saturn and trines Chiron in my own chart too. So there are some additional layers to it, right? But what it kind of comes down to is, do I have faith that love is enough? Do I have faith that love is enough to overcome any of these fears that I have over the control, of ensuring that, my son is going to be a good human being? I don't know. I don't know what the outcome is going to be in the future. I don't know what other interactions are going to happen to him in his life that may influence who he becomes. But what I do know is that I can love the shit out of him. I love this kid so much. Like, if I could explain to you what it felt like after he was born and just being with him, it's like my heart was expanding out of my chest. Like, and he is such an incredible kid. And I know that I know that he's going to do amazing things. And I really just want to do what's best for him. And so just thinking about this whole concept of fear versus faith, it's they're two sides of the same coin. You don't know what the outcome's going to be. But on one hand, you can choose to be fearful and worry about the negative outcomes, or you can choose faith and be hopeful that the things that you're doing are going to turn out okay, that everything's going to be okay. And so what I am aiming to do is just have more faith in myself, not be so hard on myself for my own shortcomings, and know that I can continue to do better. I can find where I fall short, and instead of worrying about, one situation and how I handled that, I can have faith that the 9 out of 10 times where I am being kind, being compassionate, being patient are going to outweigh that one time where I wasn't. So, just something to gnaw on today is, where in your life can you choose faith over fear? I know it's something that I've had to do several times over my lifetime and in different scenarios. And more recently, it's been this situation with my son. And I would challenge you to find places in your life where you may be fearful, or you may be worrying or anxious about something, and try to see where you can find some faith. And if you're into astrology at all and can read your chart, maybe try to look at that too, to see what other clues there are that can help you along your journey. So that's all I have for today. And as always, if you enjoyed this episode, I would love for you to share, like, subscribe. I always enjoy reading the comments. And if you have anything that you'd like me to cover, feel free to pop that in the comments as well. That can be spiritual stuff, life coaching, astrology, astrocartography, whatever. Love to talk about it all. If you are listening to this when it goes live, I'm also going to include the link for the Rise Happiness Summit that I am going to be speaker in this upcoming week. If you'd like to know more about breath work and how it can help you, that's my topic. I'll be talking about that and how it can bring more balance into your life. Thank you all, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week.